Let's go.
Nice.
What's up, guys? Yoshi's here with another Rogue Company video. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to be buying as Dallas in Rogue Company to dominate your strikeout matches. So this is going to be a purchasing guide round for round. I'll show you exactly where I'm spending my money so that you can get the most value out of Dallas's kit. If you learn anything or like the video, please consider subscribing to see more Rogue Company videos, and let's get into it. In round one, I always pick up Dallas's AR first. I also grab his perk to reload while sprinting, and through the gameplay in this first round, you're going to see exactly why. I think generally most people grab the primary weapon of their choice in round one, but then for the last $4,000, it's really a decision between one of the cheaper perks or picking up a gadget. So having a gadget is nice, and I do like his incendiary grenade, which we'll get into later, but the perk of reloading while running, you're going to be able to use it the entire round. There's no cooldown on it. So that's one of the biggest pieces that I think makes this so valuable for Dallas's kid. You're going to have many times where you're trying to sprint away from a battle and you want to reload, and it's so incredibly useful to have this perk so that you're able to get back in the fight quickly. Once you've gotten through round one, things start to get a little more interesting. So depending on how you played in the first round, you're likely going to have anywhere from $10,000 to maybe $20,000. So what I like to do is get my AR up to level 2, which gives me increased magazine size as well as reducing the recoil on the weapon. And then I will usually decide between aiming down sight speed or picking up my throwable here. Having the improvement to the hipfire accuracy of his main weapon is really great, especially for people who like to run and gun and try to rack up as many kills as possible. I think for Dallas's AR, his hipfire accuracy is actually pretty good, and it's not the fastest firing AR, so being able to hit all of your shots when up close is really going to put you in a better position in a firefight. The perk which improves your speed while aiming down sights is really great, especially at medium to long range. So you're going to have many fights where it's maybe 20 to 30 meters, and it really comes down to who is missing fewer shots. Because people in this game, they're not generally going to be able to hit all their shots beyond mid-range. And if you're able to strafe back and forth and move faster than the opponent, you're probably going to end up taking that fight, just because they'll miss more shots and then eventually have to reload. Depending on the speed that the enemy was playing the first round, I'll sometimes opt to grab the perk which improves your speed to regenerate health. If you're noticing that the team is really aggressive and pushing really hard in all the fights, you're going to want to pick up this one instead of the ADS speed improvement. This will allow you to get back into the fight faster, reduce the number of times you're getting down, and generally just maximize the output of your damage. So if you do end up going this route, usually I'll grab the ADS perk in round 3. In the case where you had a bad first round and you weren't able to get at least $10,000, I will usually get the level 1 upgrade for Dallas's AR, and if possible, I'll grab a throwable. So I usually go with the incendiary grenade, which is the fire explosive, but I know people have seen some success with the EMP if they're going against people who have very strong gadgets. So if you're going against someone like a Scorch. Scorch hit by an EMP basically takes away half of her value. So that's a great one to pick up if the enemy Scorch was really killing you in round 1. In round 3, I usually like to look at my most expensive perks. So it's a decision between his body armor or the perk Replenish, which I think is pretty incredible. Being able to down someone and get an instant reload is just so strong, especially when you're going against multiple enemies. So if I have $10,000, I'm picking up Replenish perk in round 3, and that just opens up the door to be a lot more aggressive in this game. If you do have some extra money after that, usually I'll upgrade the incendiary grenade. I think that the both upgrades on that explosive are really valuable. And so being able to get the extended duration and the bigger AoE is really going to give you an extra boost to that damage potential. By round 3, you're going to have to just assume that everyone has a pretty strong kit. So here, even though you can be more aggressive, you also have to play slightly more cautiously in certain situations because you know that the enemy is going to have many more of their perks and upgrades unlocked. I usually don't pick up the body armor perk in this game until as late as possible. Realistically, it'll mean the difference between probably 2 bullets in most gunfights, and for that much money and with the body armor not replenishing, I just don't think it's worth it currently at $10,000. So that's one that I usually save for later rounds. You'll notice that I still haven't picked up a melee weapon. Honestly, I don't think that melee weapons are worth it for $4,000 right now, when you could instead upgrade one of your explosive or gadgets. I think the idea of throwing a melee at somebody and getting a kill is really exciting. It's just so rare that you're gonna get the kill that way. And you'll be in so few situations where you can actually smack someone around with a melee weapon that I think there's just better uses of that $4,000 with the current state of Strikeout. If your team didn't pull off the 3-0 sweep, then you head into round 4. And this is where, if I haven't picked up already, then I get the ADS perk and the perk which is going to give you the faster regen of health. So both of these I think are pretty crucial to completing Dallas's kit. And I talked a little bit about both of them earlier, but I think this round we end up losing, but you'll see that I end up being able to play a little bit more aggressively just because I have these 2 perks. I was also $1,000 short on being able to fully upgrade the incendiary, so if I did have that 4K left over, I would have gone to level 2 on the fire explosive. The other thing you'll notice is I don't really upgrade the revolver. I think that Dallas has a very strong pistol which can down people with 4 bullets even at mid-range, but it's just not worth it to upgrade for him because you're really just going to be running around with his AR. When you get a chance, you're going to want to swap out the pistol ASAP anyways, so try to save your money and don't really spend anything on his revolver unless you're just overflowing with cash. If the game goes to round 5, I'm always going to max out the AR and pick up the first perk, which basically puts Dallas into sneaky mode. So that is a total of $9,000. If you have some money left over, go ahead and get your incendiary up to level 2. But this means for the final round of the match, you can go full flank mode. Dallas is kitted up, and with a fully powered Dallas, with the exception of the body armor, I think he's one of the strongest characters in the game. You can be really aggressive with his Q ability, go for downs, and just constantly be highlighting people on the map to make it easier for you and your team to get kills. Just remember that his sneaky perk only applies when he's walking. So if you sprint around corners, the enemy's still going to be able to hear you. This is especially important when going on flanks. As you start to get closer to where you expect the enemy to be, make sure you stop sprinting and go into walking mode. This way you can sneak up on them without the enemy team realizing, and you can probably take out at least 1 or 2 people before the team turns around and starts firing at you. With the level 3 AR, this also means that Dallas is not going to show up on the enemy radar. You're basically a ghost, and if you can stay behind cover, you have fast healing, you can reload while running, you're basically an unstoppable monster at this point. So that's pretty much how I approach buying in Rogue Company as Dallas in the strikeout mode. This is a general guideline. You can see where I'm picking things up in terms of rounds and how I'm spending the money. I think that Dallas's kit is very impressive, and he has a lot of perks that work really well with his his skill set? I'd love to hear about how you are spending your money in Rogue Company throughout strikeout rounds. Let me know in the comment section below if there's any parts that you do differently, or maybe you're a fan of the melee or body armor. Dallas's AR is also crazy powerful, and I'll drop a link in the comment section showing why it's my favorite weapon. But basically, it's got the highest body damage out of all assault rifles, and at level 3, it becomes silenced. So you can essentially become the greatest flanker of all time. I've also found that in round 1, many times you'll be able to just pick up the gadget from somebody that you or your teammates have killed. So I don't really feel that it's worth spending that initial 4,000 to pick up a gadget in round 1. Overall, this is a general guide. If it's helpful, I encourage you to leave a like, and I will continue to put out more of these type of videos. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.